And that then takes us to the next part, which is the utility. So another reason why you would have a token is that the token has utility. We talked in much detail about it solves a coordination problem, BTC being a classic example of how that solves the coordination problem amongst participants. Or we discussed about token utility in terms of miners using their computation power and executing your transactions, and in turn, you're paying them a gas fee. Or utility could be access to some gaming assets, like you had in Axie Infinity, or you have in different games that you have a token that helps you buy certain assets within the game. That assets could be a sword, that asset could be a skin in the game, that asset could be some shield. So you buy tokens to purchase then some asset within your gaming ecosystem. So that then comes to the third point, which is utility. So generally, it usually boils down to any of these three categories, why you need to have a token, either fundraising or governance or utility. And one interesting use case I would like to mention about in the utility is around helium. So helium is a very interesting use case, and the way they solve the coordination problem within the helium network is super interesting. What they have essentially done is that they have created a lo-fi network for IoT devices to communicate. And they've actually created a token model, a token structure, a model basically, where people who want to participate in the economy go and buy an equipment at their own cost, and then they start running that equipment. And once they run that equipment, as they are becoming good actors, or as they follow the rules of the network, they are incentivized in helium tokens, and the helium tokens have a value. So the way the whole ecosystem has been designed, imagine if this was not a decentralized infrastructure, if Helium had to install all those equipments for those IoT devices to communicate. Helium had to do a lot of more stuff than having service technicians, having an infrastructure across the globe, having different people installing that infrastructure, too much of regulatory compliance, lots of hardware being moved around. If this was a centralized command and control kind of an organization. On the other hand, a wonderful way of how they've solved their coordination problem by decentralizing their whole infrastructure and inviting participants to come and buy a part of their infrastructure, and then to run that infrastructure to get helium tokens and to behave in a certain way to get helium tokens. So the whole incentive mechanism, it's been designed quite well. So we'll cover one of the videos, and we'll probably discuss helium in more detail, or you can look them up on how the tokenomics of helium has been designed, but solves a great coordination problem, decentralizes the infrastructure, and in the end is a utility token. So these, from my lens, generally also are some of the reasons why you need to have a token. And it is important to understand that if you do not have a why you need a token, then it will be your project that will be running your token and not the other way around. So it will not be your token running your product or running your project. It will be your project running this token. And this is a massive failure if you cannot answer the why you need a token. So the token should be running your product or your project rather than the other way around. So hopefully you understand this principle of why we need the token, and that will take us to our next video.